Hello, everyone. This is Competition Technical Manager Matthew Gardner, and today we're going to do a product demonstration judge briefing, and this is a general briefing, just some of the general stuff you need to know to run a mission station. So I'm going to share my screen. There's what? Okay. There we go. And as I said, this is the 2025 product demonstration judge briefing for all competition classes. And this is just general information. There's going to be another one that goes through the specifics of the missions, but this is just going to be some general information about running a mission station. Okay, so number one, know the teams you are getting. You should have a schedule and you should know the teams that are coming to your stations. If there are any dropouts, a pool coordinator or someone should let you know that. It's really not your job to run out and try and find the teams. They need to be showing up at your station. So all teams get 5 minutes to set up, 15 minutes to do their in-water product demonstration run, and 5 minutes to demobilize, move out, get everything out of the water, and move out of the station. The classes are usually scheduled in 30-minute time blocks, so that gives you about 5 minutes of additional time. Now for Scout class, oftentimes they get 3 minutes of setup, 10 minutes of product demo time, and only 2 minutes of demobilization. And that's 15 minutes total. They run on 20 minutes blocks, again, giving you about 5 minutes of slack time in between to get the former team out and the next team in. Now, some regionals may change this up some, so your regional coordinator may let you know that the timing of this is different, but this is generally the time that teams have. I want to talk a little bit about a time bonus. I don't expect any teams to get a time bonus, but you never know. So teams, they only get a time bonus if they finish everything in the water, all the missions, and they have no penalties. If they don't finish everything or they have a penalty, they just can't get a time bonus. So essentially, they have to have a perfect score to get a time bonus. If that happens, if a team does get a perfect score, write down the time they finished in. You can do the math you want, but if you just write down the time they finished in, let's say they had 15 minutes and they finished in 12 minutes and 51 seconds, you could just write down finished in 12:51, and the scorekeeper can do the math if you don't want to. But that would be essentially 2.09 additional points that they would get for finishing 2 minutes and 9 seconds early. So communicate with the teams. Number one, when they come into the station, make sure you have the proper team, the one you should be getting at your mission station. But the main part of this is communicate with the teams during their mission run to know what tasks they are doing. Oftentimes, the ROV is going to be working on one task underwater, while someone else from that team is working on something else on the surface. They could be graphing their float data. They could be creating their 3D photosphere, 360-degree photosphere. They could be doing eDNA. They could be doing their animation of invasive species moving through the river. So a lot of stuff is happening outside the ROV. The ROV is doing something, they're getting data and doing something on the surface. So just be aware of everything happening. And there should always be at least 2 judges at the mission station. So one can be watching and scoring the ROV, the other one can be evaluating the stuff on the surface, however you want to do it. So safety. Teams must have their blue safety card to get into the pool. So if they don't have that card, they need to go back and get it, and they'll get that when they pass their safety inspection. But if you see something that is potentially unsafe, you as a station judge should definitely stop and make sure everything is okay. If there are questions about what is safe, what is not safe, consult the lead safety inspector or the regional coordinator or a head rules judge, whoever is there. Just consult with someone and the team to make sure it's safe. And safety is paramount. If something is unsafe, that team should not do their product demonstration. They should not be in the water if they have something that's unsafe. I also want to talk about organizational and operational effectiveness. So for Explorer, Pioneer, Ranger, Navigator, these teams get points for organization, good communication, and more. The scoring for this is on the front page of the score sheet, page 1 of the score sheet. So look through these and please evaluate this. Don't just give them a 10 free points. This is things like, the team is supportive of each other. They have a plan. They know that they have so many minutes to do this, and if they're not almost done with it, they're going to move on to something else. So, this organizational and operational effectiveness is important. So look through that beforehand and be ready to score the teams on that. Judge folders. You should have a judge folder or some paperwork, and it should have a judge cheat sheet in it. And the cheat sheet has all the answers you need. It's going to have the shipwreck links. It's going to have the eDNA profile matches. Um, it's going to have any information that the team's finding out down there, finding out. You should have this on your judge cheat sheet. That way, when a team gives you the answer, you don't have to remember this or look. You just look on your judge cheat sheet and you know it's a yes or no for the team. Um, there also should be in your judge folder, or maybe on the mission station when you get there, there should be some data tables to provide to your teams. I'm going to talk more about this in the product demonstration, but that would be the eDNA unknown samples, um, things like that. So as well as those things that teams can look at when it's time to look at, you're also going to have some handbooks that teams can consult, and that's the shipwreck handbook. Lists all the shipwrecks so they can discover which shipwreck they have found in the pool, and it's going to end the invasive species handbook. So when they get their unknown eDNA profiles, they can compare it to this invasive species handbook and match up those eDNA profiles to known invasive species. You should also have a spare score sheet or two just in case you need them. Generally, the teams are going to bring you their score sheets. They have them in their team folders, and they will hand you their score sheet. These extra ones, one is great. You can just write some notes on it. A lot of judges just like to, write little notes about things on one. And then that's the other one, just in case a team loses it. You have an extra one, and probably the regional coordinator or someone coordinating the pool should have some extras as well, just in case. You should also have a schedule, a pen or pencil, a stopwatch, one per station, a clipboard, and more. And hopefully everything you need to run your mission station will be there waiting for you, either at the mission station table or in your judge folder. So some other general notes. Be sure to check out the mission fly-through. So in the other briefing, I'm going to go through the missions for your competition class, but the mission fly-throughs essentially have an animation of an ROV doing the complete mission. There's additional information in the competition manuals if you really want to go in depth. There are photos of all the mission props in the prop building guide. It's a good idea if you want to check out all of these, but really these fly-through videos give you a good look at what the ROV has to do. So here you can see, depending on what class you are in, you have videos you can watch either on Vimeo or YouTube of each of these competition classes. And what I recommend is print out a score sheet for your competition class. And as you're watching this fly-through video, go through the score sheet and look at how you would score this and just kind of match up that score sheet with the product demonstration run. So as I said, I highly recommend looking through these fly-through videos. Just some score sheet. Take a look, as I said, take a look at your score sheet. The missions are generally split over 2 different pages. And then the final page has penalties and a box for the total score. Now for penalties, teams are penalized for diver assistance. If they need a diver to help untangle them, recover their vehicle, pick something up for them, that's going to be a penalty. Pulling on the tether is not allowed. They can't be trying to move their ROV around by pulling on the tether. Now, if it's an accident, you can give them a warning or 2 if it's a minor infraction, but they really shouldn't be pulling on that tether to steer or maneuver the ROV. Leaving debris in the pool. Debris is really anything they built, not the float. The float's supposed to be deployed in the pool. But if flotation falls off their vehicle or a chunk of their vehicle falls off and sitting on the bottom, that is debris. Mission items sometimes are debris, sometimes not, and only if they are detailed as this is debris or this is not debris, you can mark it. And generally, most everything that they have to bring out of the pool is considered debris. And so for debris, it either needs mission style debris, it either needs to be out of the pool, set on the pool deck, or if it's under control of the RV in a gripper on the RV when mission ends, that's fine as well, because it would have come out. But again, if they pull a cap off something or the pin or something, they can't just leave that on the bottom. That is debris unless it is allowed for them to do so, and that will be in the mission briefing. So Explorer, Pioneer, Ranger, and Navigator teams, they are penalized for looking in the pool or illegal communications. We're pretending that this clear pool is actually deep ocean water that you can't see through. So oftentimes they will have the pilots sit so that they're facing away from the pool. And if you see them looking over their shoulder, that would be a penalty. And again, illegal communication. The person who is looking into the pool, the tether manager, can't tell the pilot left, right, up, down, it's 2 meters in front of you, anything like that. Again, we're pretending it's deep water. Now, if it's just an incidental, you can give teams a warning. If that pilot's going and does that, just give them a warning and say, hey, you can't do that. You can't look in the pool. But if it's blatant, you can penalize them the first time. And of course, for Scout, they generally don't have cameras, so they can look into the pool and they can communicate back and forth however they want because everyone's looking into the pool. So the last thing is once time stops, teams cannot get any more penalties. So once the time is done, once they've reached their 15-minute time period, they can pull on the tether to retrieve things. A diver can help them. They won't get any penalties for that. They can't get any more points after time ends, but they also can't get any more penalties. Okay, so the last slide, I think, when they're through, add up the points. So look through their score sheet and total up the points. If a team gets a time bonus, either add in that time bonus or just write the time down. As I said earlier, the scorekeeper can do the math. Then this is very important. Go through the points with the team CEO. So, after you've added everything up, call over the CEO and go, you got this, you didn't get this, you got this, you didn't get this, and go through everything with them. And then both you and the CEO signs off. So if there is an issue with scoring, if that team thinks, hey, you didn't give us points for this mission and we did it, it's fresh in your mind. You can look in the pool and go, well, there it is. You're right. I didn't give you points. Or it's like, hey, this thing's lying on the bottom. You don't get points. And what we want to avoid is if a team comes back 3 hours later or the next day, you may just not remember the details. You'll probably have dealt with 10 other teams or more in that interim, and you're just not going to remember some detail about that team's mission. So work it out then and there. If need be, bring in the chief rules judge or the competition coordinator to oversee things if there's discrepancy and work it out there. And then when you're done, turn in your score sheet to the scorekeeper. You might have runners to do this, to take score sheets to the scorekeeper. If not, you can just walk over or give your score sheets to the scorekeepers because without those score sheets, they're not going to be able to score the teams. One more slide. Okay, so diver reset. Work with your divers between the mission runs to reset the mission props for the next team. There is going to be a diver briefing. They will be briefed on what they need to do to reset between the mission stations, but you probably know a little bit better about what the team did, what the team didn't do. So help the divers out, say, hey, such and such need to come up off the bottom and back to the pool deck, and hand them the stuff that needs to be brought down and redeployed in the pool. And do note that the divers may need to help the team recover their float. The floats are independent, should be going up and down on their own, and then they'll need the diver to bring it back in between times as well. Okay, so that is it for the general briefing for product demonstration judges. As I said, there are going to be specific briefings for each competition class where we will go through the missions and how to score the missions. So thank you.